Welcome to a new episode of The Rise of the Tsars. In our last episode, we delved into the life and legacy of Peter the Great, the visionary Tsar who transformed Russia into a European power. But history does not stand still. Today, we journey through a period of uncertainty and change, culminating in the rise of one of Russia's most fascinating and controversial figures, Catherine the Great. The death of Peter the Great in 1725 left Russia in a succession crisis. His son, Tsarevich Alexei, had been executed for treason years earlier, leaving a power vacuum. The crown passed to Peter's second wife, Catherine I, who ruled briefly before her death in 1727. But let us delve deeper into the tragic fate of Tsarevich Alexei. Born in 1690, Alexei was the son of Peter the Great and his first wife, Eudoxia Lopukina. From a young age, Alexei showed little interest in his father's ambitious reforms and modernization efforts. He was deeply religious and preferred the traditional ways of old Russia, which put him at odds with his progressive father. As Alexei grew older, the rift between father and son deepened. Peter the Great was determined to transform Russia into a modern European power, while Alexei clung to the old customs and resented his father's reforms. This tension came to a head when Alexei sought refuge abroad, fleeing to Vienna in 1716. Alexei's flight was seen as a betrayal by Peter the Great, who viewed it as a threat to his authority and the stability of the Russian state. Peter sent agents to persuade Alexei to return to Russia, promising him forgiveness and a role in the government. However, these promises were a ruse to lure Alexei back. Upon his return to Russia in 1718, Alexei was arrested and subjected to intense interrogation. Under torture, he confessed to plotting against his father and was subsequently tried for treason. The trial was a mere formality, as Peter the Great was determined to make an example of his son to deter any future dissent. In June 1718, Alexei was found guilty of treason and sentenced to death. However, the official cause of his death remains shrouded in mystery. Some accounts suggest that he died under torture, while others claim that he was executed by firing squad. Regardless of the method, Alexei's death marked a dark chapter in Russian history and left a profound impact on the succession crisis that followed. With Alexei's death, the line of succession was thrown into chaos. Peter the Great's second wife, Catherine I, ascended to the throne briefly before her own death in 1727. The crown then passed to Peter II, Peter the Great's grandson, who died of smallpox at the age of 14 in 1730. The crown was then claimed by Anna Ivanovna, Peter the Great's niece, who ruled until 1740. Her reign was followed by the brief rule of Ivan VI, a child who was deposed in a coup d'état led by Elizabeth, Peter the Great's daughter. Elizabeth, known for her beauty and charisma, ruled Russia from 1741 to 1762. Her reign was a period of relative stability and cultural growth. Elizabeth had no children and chose her nephew, Peter of Holstein-Gottorp, as her successor. Peter, who would later become Peter III, married a young German princess named Sophia of Anhalt-Zerbst. This union would change the course of Russian history forever. Sophia, who adopted the name Catherine upon converting to Orthodox Christianity, was a woman of exceptional intelligence and boundless ambition. Her marriage to Peter III was unhappy and tumultuous. Peter, known for his incompetence and eccentricities, quickly earned the antipathy of the nobility and the military. In 1762, Peter III was deposed in a coup d'état orchestrated by his own wife, Catherine. With the support of the imperial guard and the nobility, Catherine proclaimed herself Empress of Russia. Peter III was assassinated shortly thereafter, under circumstances that remain a mystery to this day. The reign of Catherine the Great, which lasted from 1762 to 1796, was one of the most significant periods in Russian history. Catherine embarked on a series of reforms and territorial expansions that consolidated Russian power and modernized the country. Catherine implemented a series of educational and cultural reforms, promoting education and the arts. She founded the Russian Academy of Sciences and patronized artists and writers. She also attempted to modernize the Russian legal system, although her efforts in this area were limited by the resistance of the nobility. One of Catherine's most significant initiatives was the Nakaz, or instruction, a comprehensive legal code that aimed to reform Russian society. Although many of its provisions were never implemented, the Nakaz reflected Catherine's enlightened views and her desire to bring Russia into the modern age. Catherine also promoted the development of Russian literature and culture. She corresponded with leading European intellectuals, including Voltaire and Diderot, and invited them to Russia. Under her patronage, Russian literature and theater flourished, and St. Petersburg became a cultural hub. Catherine was also a skilled military strategist. Under her leadership, Russia expanded its borders to the south and west. The Russo-Turkish Wars resulted in the annexation of Crimea and the expansion of Russian control over the Black Sea. These conquests not only increased Russian territory, but also strengthened its position in Europe. The First Russo-Turkish War, which lasted from 1768 to 1774, was a major conflict that saw Russian forces achieve significant victories. The Treaty of Küçükçayırca, which ended the war, granted Russia access to the Black Sea and recognized the independence of the Crimean Khanate, which was later annexed by Russia in 1783. The Second Russo-Turkish War, which lasted from 1787 to 1792, further consolidated Russian gains. The Treaty of Jassy, which ended the war, confirmed Russian control over the Crimea and extended Russian influence in the Balkans. These territorial expansions were a testament to Catherine's military prowess and her determination to secure Russia's borders. Catherine also played a crucial role in European politics. She participated in the Partitions of Poland, which divided the country between Russia, Prussia, and Austria. These partitions further strengthened Russian influence in Eastern Europe. The First Partition of Poland, which took place in 1772, saw Russia, Prussia, and Austria annex significant portions of Polish territory. The Second Partition, which took place in 1793, further reduced Polish territory. The Third Partition, which took place in 1795, resulted in the complete dissolution of the Polish state. Catherine's involvement in the Partitions of Poland was driven by her desire to expand Russian territory and secure its western borders. However, these actions also had profound consequences for the Polish people, who were subjected to foreign rule for over a century. Not all was success and glory during Catherine's reign. The Pugachev rebellion, led by the Cossack Yemelyan Pugachev, shook the foundations of the empire. Pugachev proclaimed himself Peter III and led a peasant revolt that challenged Catherine's power. Although the rebellion was ultimately suppressed, it revealed the deep social and economic tensions that existed in Russia. The Pugachev rebellion, which lasted from 1773 to 1775, was one of the largest peasant uprisings in Russian history. Pugachev's forces captured several cities and posed a serious threat to Catherine's rule. The rebellion was eventually crushed by Russian troops, and Pugachev was executed in Moscow in 1775. The rebellion highlighted the plight of the Russian peasantry, who were subjected to serfdom and harsh living conditions. Although Catherine was aware of these issues, her attempts at reform were limited by the resistance of the nobility, who were unwilling to give up their privileges. Despite the challenges she faced, Catherine's reign was also a period of intellectual and cultural flourishing. The Russian Enlightenment, which was inspired by the ideas of the European Enlightenment, saw the emergence of a new generation of Russian intellectuals and artists. Catherine's patronage of the arts and sciences helped to foster a vibrant cultural scene in Russia. She established the Hermitage Museum, which housed her extensive art collection, and promoted the development of Russian literature and theater. Under her rule, St. Petersburg became a center of cultural and intellectual activity. Catherine also corresponded with leading European intellectuals, including Voltaire and Diderot, and invited them to Russia. These exchanges helped to bring new ideas and perspectives to Russia and contributed to the development of a distinct Russian cultural identity. One of Catherine's most ambitious initiatives was the Great Legislative Commission, which she convened in 1767. The commission was tasked with drafting a new legal code for Russia based on the principles of the Enlightenment. Although the commission ultimately failed to produce a new code, it was a significant attempt at reform and reflected Catherine's commitment to modernizing Russian society. The Great Legislative Commission brought together representatives from various social classes and regions of Russia. It was a unique experiment in participatory governance, and although it did not result in a new legal code, it helped to foster a sense of national identity and civic responsibility among the Russian people. Catherine's reign also saw significant economic development in Russia. She promoted the growth of industry and commerce and encouraged the development of new technologies. Under her rule, Russia became a major exporter of grain, timber, and other natural resources. Catherine also supported the development of Russian manufacturing and established new factories and workshops. She encouraged the growth of trade and commerce and expanded Russia's network of roads and canals. These economic initiatives helped to modernize the Russian economy and improve the living standards of the Russian people. Catherine's reign was also marked by her efforts to expand Russian influence in Europe. She forged alliances with other European powers and used diplomacy and military force to advance Russian interests. Under her rule, Russia became a major player in European politics and a formidable military power. Catherine's diplomatic efforts were aimed at securing Russia's borders and expanding its territory. She formed alliances with Prussia and Austria and used these alliances to further Russian interests in Eastern Europe. She also used military force to expand Russian influence, and her campaigns against the Ottoman Empire and Poland were a testament to her determination to secure Russia's position in Europe. Catherine's personal life was as complex and fascinating as her reign. She was known for her intelligence, wit, and charm, and she had a keen interest in the arts and sciences. She was also known for her numerous romantic relationships, which were a source of both scandal and intrigue. Catherine's most famous lover was Grigory Potemkin, a Russian statesman and military leader. Potemkin was a key figure in Catherine's reign, and he played a crucial role in her military campaigns and diplomatic efforts. Their relationship was both personal and professional, and Potemkin's influence on Catherine's policies was significant. Catherine's personal life was also marked by her correspondence with leading European intellectuals, including Voltaire and Diderot. These exchanges helped to shape her views on governance, society, and culture, and contributed to her reputation as an enlightened monarch. Catherine the Great died in 1796, leaving a complex and enduring legacy. Her reign was a mix of progress and repression, modernization and autocracy. She expanded Russia's borders, promoted education and the arts, and consolidated Russian power in Europe. However, she also faced internal and external challenges that tested her leadership. Today, Catherine the Great is remembered as one of the most influential figures in Russian history. Her legacy continues to be a subject of debate and study, a testament to her lasting impact on the course of history. Catherine's reign was a period of both achievement and controversy. She was a visionary leader who sought to modernize Russia and expand its influence in Europe. However, her rule was also marked by repression and autocracy, and her attempts at reform were often limited by the resistance of the nobility. Despite these challenges, Catherine's legacy is a testament to her determination, intelligence, and ambition. She was a woman who defied the conventions of her time and left an indelible mark on the history of Russia and the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Russian history. In our next episode, we will explore the events that followed Catherine the Great's reign and the lasting impact of her policies on the future of Russia. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. See you in the next chapter of The Rise of the Tsars.